So just to say thank you very much, Michael and Olga and all the WorkSmarter team for inviting me along to talk today. My name is Peter McKiernan. I'm from the Enterprise Applications Group. My talk is around how in the Enterprise Application Groups, we changed the way we ran our meetings due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And I hope with the story I'm going to tell you now that at the end of this session, and indeed in the years ahead, we'll be able to look back again and agree on this statement. When the dust settles, we likely see that our remotely working employees were just as productive during this crisis, if not more so. And that's just the words of the VP for Gartner, Aaron McKiernan. So this is how we all used to do our meetings. It seems like quite a while ago now. It's almost a luxury now to think back about group and face-to-face meetings. So this is more what we're familiar with now, and we went to this in a very short time, and this is a screen that we're also all very familiar with. There's some of my work colleagues there. And in fact, the switch over to remote working was almost immediate, and thankfully, for many of us, relatively seamless. But with change coming this quick, there will always be a little bit of this going on. Change is always a little challenging, especially the extreme pace of change caused by COVID. And we would all have justifiably asked ourselves, will we really be able to move all our operations online, do our work remotely, and for it all to work and run relatively smoothly? How were we going to schedule, organize our meetings, and collaborate around documents had to change, and email alone wasn't going to be the answer. So please hold that thought for a moment, and I'll tell you a little bit about what we do in the Enterprise Application Group, which is the group that I work in. So just a very quick overview. In EAG, we're responsible for all the business applications, just to give you a little bit of context and background. So we're responsible for the business applications, for example, the research office, finance office, HR, UC estates and student services. We're responsible for all the enterprise-wide services and applications such as web, UC Connect, mail, UC mobile. And we have a huge user community, so we have to provide support for all our users and all our systems and across all our systems and applications. So just to give you an idea, when COVID hit us, how it hit us, our support ticket volumes increased by over 300% versus the same period last year. We delivered over 70 new projects to support university staff, and these were unscheduled projects, they're all new. So that was in support of staff returning to work, either on-site or remotely, or mostly remotely. And that covered everything from provisioning Zoom for over 4,000 staff, booking systems for return to work, and a new graded approval process put in place, just to give you a sample of a few. So COVID really provided the pivot for us to change. We were busier than ever. So it was really the pivot for us to change some of how we do things, particularly around how we collaborate, schedule, and run our meetings, which is what I'm going to focus on. So this is just a little bit of a before and after. So just around how we schedule our meetings, the agenda set up, and then some meeting collaboration. So clearly one of the big challenges working remotely is around collaboration. So we were using Google Calendar for scheduling our meetings, but we weren't really making the most of it. Now we use it to set reminders for multiple applications such as Tasks or Keep. We have seamless Zoom integration into Calendar, and we use calendar layering for specific calendars, where we layer calendars, and this is very handy for project meetings and team meetings for specific purposes. In terms of agendas, this was usually done through back and forward emails, but now we use collaborative environments such as Google Keep. And for example, participants can collaborate live on an agenda, particularly an agenda or for note taking. This is very powerful, and live is the key word here. Likewise for collaboration, so for a heavier collaboration, such as maybe drafting a policy document, usually this is drafted by one person in Word and circulated via email, and then there'll be comments sent back and forth for insertion before you reach your final version. But now we use Google Docs again for live collaboration, and they're the two applications I'm just going to talk a little bit more about now. Firstly, just in terms of improving effectiveness, this is a really simple tool. If you have not already done this, it'll save you a lot of time in terms of setting up a meeting. That's adding Zoom to your Google Calendar. So as most of you know, Google's incorporated into your Gmail screen. So here you have effectively all the tools between Calendar, Keep, and Tasks. all the tools in one place that you need to run effective meetings. So if we launch Google Calendar from there, so you launch the usual screen, you can find a time, add your guests to the meeting in the usual way. But if you integrate Zoom into it, you can also add a Zoom meeting in this small set up a meeting screen, and the Zoom details will go out to all the invitees for your meeting. So to do this, there's a small little add-on that you can add on to your browser. It's at zoom.us.download. It's very simple to do. Once you've done that, you'll see that a Zoom widget will appear at the right-hand side of your browser. And this is what enables you to set up quick and easy meetings. So you can click on that, and it'll allow you to start a meeting or schedule one for later. You can click on the calendar just in the normal way, and you'll get the typical set up a meeting screen. But now you make it a Zoom meeting. And when you select schedule a meeting, you're presented with the normal meeting setup page that you're all familiar with. But you'll also get the Zoom integration as well. And this is a very great way to streamline how you set up your meetings. So just to give an idea in terms of how heavily used these applications are at this time of year, you can see from the graph the growth in the number of Zoom meetings. So we have over 140,000 actual meetings this month. It's a huge number. We've per calendar, we have over 3.5 active users per week. And so you can see that a small bit of streamlining how we use these tools can make a huge difference across the entire community. Just as a little, by the way, the average size of the meeting is over 5.5 people. The average webinar size is 50 people. And there are over 5,000 registered users for Zoom. So if you are looking to integrate Zoom into your calendar, we have a lot of information on our website on Zoom, recommended security settings and short handy videos as well. So on to some more heavier collaboration then. So often collaboration on documents is done like this, sitting around with a couple of laptops. But now we have to substitute this and do our formal and informal collaboration online. And a tool we hadn't used very much before COVID hit us was Google Keep. So I'm going to give you a short overview about how we use Google Keep for setting our agendas, team meetings, and so on. We particularly find it useful for our weekly operations meetings, where there's a rolling agenda from week to week. And it's a very, very powerful tool for that type of meeting. So Google Keep. Again, you can launch Google Keep from within your Gmail screen. And you can also download the mobile app, and this will allow you to make notes on the move. And the seamless synchronization, it's really key, the seamless synchronization of data and content across your devices. So no matter where you access these applications from, you'll be accessing the same information and data, seamless synchronization. So when you get to the full Google Keep screen there, you can set yourself up a note, or this way you might set up an agenda for a meeting. You can share it with your colleagues. You can invite others to participate in it. And this is a really great collaboration tool for quick and easy sharing of ideas with colleagues. You can use Google Keep to set reminders for yourself. And this way you're leveraging the full power of Google Calendar, where your reminders will appear. So the reminders you set here will actually appear in your Google Calendar. You can categorize by color, setting different background colors, or you can add labels to your notes. And you can add an image. Here we see we've just added the Google Keep image to a note, just as an example. And also, very importantly, if you're on your mobile device, you can add a voice recording, which you can listen back to later, or you can take a picture and add that to your note as well. So a very, very powerful tool that you can use across your different devices. So just onto Google Docs then, for larger collaboration projects and meetings, one of the applications we've also found very useful is Google Docs. With Google Docs, you can edit a document, for example, with a project team in real time. And again, that's the key point I want to get across, that you can do this editing live in real time with your colleagues. So in EAG, we'd use Google Docs to collaborate, for example, of meetings and minutes. These can be drafted at the meeting and agreed there and then. No circulation of emails afterwards. We can share draft project proposals and collaborate together live. You can see we're working on a document there with some colleagues around Google security. And again, very important, you can do this across any device. Again, seamless synchronization of data. So you can do all your edits on the move if you need to. And even though it's all live collaboration, you also maintain full version control of the document. So you can see what changes are made and when. So you're not giving up any control over the document if the document donor, but this facilitates very easy collaboration. So all the tools that I've discussed there are all available within your UCD Google account. They're all available to you. They're all now part of Google Workspace, which is the new branding for G Suite. So Google have rebranded and they're putting a real impetus behind these applications now, particularly in the times we live in at the moment. And in my group in EAG, we're really just making more effective use of these tools that were already there at our disposal. We were using them before, but now we're just using them more effectively. And finally, just to add and especially in the times that we live in, a positive note, one of the benefits of using the Google Cloud and something that's very topical in today's world is that Google are 100% carbon neutral company and have been for some years. So I'll pass it back to Mike and just say thanks very much and say that's a very whistle-stop tour of some of how we've responded to COVID, but I hope you found it useful. Michael, I'll pass back to you.